again, if you said to me you're going to be on stage with Frank Turek at a conservative event, primarily with Christians, I would have thought I had some kind of head trauma.
I want Peter, if you could talk to us about, because he is a beautiful system. I want you to think about this, how to have difficult conversations. And it really was, because you're going to have difficult conversations with the people outside here who are still waiting for us to leave. How are we going to have difficult conversations, Peter? And how do we handle it?
Yeah,
Seriously.
thanks. So I'm preparing myself for the onslaught of booze I'm about to get for this. But in 2013, I wrote a book, A Manual for Creating Atheists. Oh, wow. Okay, that wasn't what I was expecting. And I walked backstage here, and I walked in to I don't know, my new friend Frank, who wrote, I don't have enough faith to be an atheist. And Frank came immediately over to me and shook my hand and said, Peter, it is so nice to meet you.
Peter, for those of you that don't know, Peter, maybe you could tell this audience a little bit about what you do, because
it's amazing.
It is amazing what Peter does. I'm a Christian, he's an atheist, but he will tell you what he's doing right now and has been doing for several years, and it might shock you. Would you tell them what's going on,
And we can all
Peter?
learn from this and how to have difficult conversations.
Yeah,
how far will you go? And that's a beautiful thing.
I wrote the book, How to Have Impossible Conversations, but I want to answer your question directly. So I'd like to leave people with some very specific tools that they can have to have better conversations. But before I want to do that, I want to throw an idea out to you. I think that there's a schism in the right now. I think there's a schism about Israel, about groypers. I think there's contentious conversations and conversations that need to be had. I have the following suggestion to you. Rethink about the problem. The problem is not what it was 13 years ago. Again, if you said to me you're going to be on stage with Frank Turek at a conservative event, primarily with Christians, I would have thought I had some kind of head trauma. But I suggest the following to you. Frank and I have far more in common. We have something fundamental in common. And that's, we believe in, we want to conserve, as Thomas Sowell said, Rob quoted Thomas Sowell, we want to conserve the Republic. I believe that there's objective truth. Frank believes there's objective truth. We disagree on what that is, but we have conversations about that. So I want to throw this out. The first order of business is to listen. You got to figure out what someone actually believes. And I think in the heyday of the New Atheist movement, I was guilty of that. I was guilty of that because I was so certain that I was correct. I'm still an atheist, but I think I was really kind of a to people in the way that I treated them. And I think if I could go back now, I would give myself the following advice. Really listen to people when they tell you something. The second thing I would tell myself is repeat back to them. This is called Rappaport's first rule. Repeat back to them so that you understand. And what you're looking for them is when they say, that's right. That's right. So you need to make sure that you understand. The key principle in all of this is you have to be willing to revise what you believe. So we go, my friend Reed and I, we go all around the world and we have impossible conversations with people, literally about things that are pretty grueling and ghastly, trans being chief among those, and now we're talking about Islamic immigration. But we first try to figure out what people believe, and then we ask them, what would it take to change your mind? You know, Rob asked the question, what do you want? It's an old question, ancient pedigree. What kind of life do you want to lead? What would it take for you to change your mind? I always, at 59, that's one of the first questions I ask people. I figure out, okay, what do they believe? Have I understood this? I repeat it back to them, and I might say, like, how confident are you on that in a scale from 1 to 10, or what would it take to change your mind? It's a deceptively simple way to have a conversation to put people at ease. And I just want to say one more thing. How tragic it is that we are here and these people are setting off fireworks and threatening police and they're arresting people. It's a stain on the promise of America. It is. And it doesn't matter if you're a believing Christian or if you're an atheist. Those things are less relevant now. And what's relevant is we have genuine civilizational threats that an honest person who is sincere with themselves has to look at. So my first suggestion to you would be, if you know someone of a different faith, I would suggest you do what Frank did to me tonight. You say, hey, so nice to meet you, and shake their hand. And then you listen to them. What do they believe? It's just like the disagreement that you had the same goal. Jim?
For several years, Peter toured universities with Corey Miller, who is the head of Ratio Christi, which is a Christian apologetics campus group. And they were going to these campuses to show that an atheist and a Christian could be on the same side of free speech and free expression. And some people oppose that. And they're still opposing this guy. Can you believe this? And you know whose fault it is? It's our fault, Christians, because we haven't spoken up enough. That he has the right to express his view, and he does, and you all do.
Thank you.
Thank you. And can I just ask, Peter, what has been the most surprising thing when you go to different campuses and the stuff that you've discovered, and asking people how far would you meet in the middle, or how strongly do you feel about this? What are some of the biggest surprises that you felt on campus that you've experienced?
The first thing is I really do believe that what Aristotle writes in the first line of the Metaphysics, all people want to know, all people desire to know. They want to know what's true. And that's my starting assumption. I have never questioned it even about the people outside. I think they want to know what's true, but I think they do think that they know it's true. And that's why they're not in here right now, because if they were, they'd be at the front of the line asking difficult questions. I mean, maybe that's a form of some kind of ideological capture. But one of the most hopeful things that I've found is when people actually listen to each other, and again, the tool is so simple. Listen to someone and ask them, don't put the burden on them. Don't say, do you get that? Because when you say, do you get that, put the burden on yourself. Am I being clear? Did I make that clear? It's a simple thing. But the most promising thing I've seen is people who have fundamental disagreements having honest conversations about really tough issues.
This has just hit me. He's the atheist Charlie Kirk.
Yeah.
Do you notice that? He wants to have a conversation, and if you disagree with him, that's fine.
No, but there is love in what he's saying, because it's an openness and an honesty for the truth. And that is love to me, an openness and honesty. Because what Peter really wants is he wants people to not be a prisoner to their own passions, to their own prejudices, and to be stuck in something where they can expand their knowledge and expand themselves and get out of a prison of their own making. And that's what I get from you. Thank you.
And I just want to say something to the organizers here. They've been absolutely fantastic. Charlie sponsored many of my events. My last texts from Charlie were incredibly supportive. And I just want to say that I'm incredibly grateful for what Turning Point has done, for the fact that you know that I have different beliefs than you, and you've been so gracious and so kind, and I'm incredibly grateful for that, and I can't thank you enough.
Thank you. Now,